Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box with the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Saturday, June the 15th. This is the weekend webinar, a review of what's going on. And let's take a look at the indices for starters. Well, the S&P making new all-time highs on Wednesday, tagged 54.47, finishing 54.31. A nice gain for the week, as you can see. The all-time highs were reached on the NASDAQ 100 as well, at over 19,650 and up about another almost 0.5% on Friday alone. So you can see if you look back at the long-term chart, you'll see that from the double bottom we had at the NDX at 10.6, we reached 19.6 or 9,000 points in about a year and a half. Pretty amazing. We overbought? Well, yeah, but we're not at the top of the channels yet. This could reach as high as 20,000 to 2,300 and maybe even 21.5. The S&P projecting on these angles 55 and 5,600. If we get a major blow up, 57.50. I don't know if we get there, but I'm just saying that that's what is possible based on where we're at. Now the problem is, and this is a big problem, the transportation index and the small caps are not confirming. Matter of fact, doing just the opposite, and that is a negative divergence. Look at the rollover on the transportation index just since March, when we reached 16,258. We're now at 14.8, 1,400 points down on a 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a fifth wave. And we're near the major trend line that goes back a couple of years. So any further damage here, it's not going to be good for the markets in general. Small cap stocks, same thing, although a little bit different at a higher level. They're not as weak, but look at Friday. This was almost in a bearish, what I would call island reversal, and then we've been down for 3 days. Near-term support, we're at the lowest, by the way, in about 5-6 weeks on the IWM, which represents the Russell 2000. It's an index fund, ETF. Next support, 191.2, and we're at 198. So you can see that a little bit of support might be here at 194. So 194, 191.5, let's call it. I'm not happy with what looks like a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Massive rounding top, head, shoulder, whatever it is. If we break below that zone, it can spell disaster for small caps in the market in general. Transportation, by the way, could be all the way back down here. 13.56. That's a long way from where we are. I'm concerned, very concerned about transportations and small caps, looking nowhere near these two patterns on the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 generals. Let's look at the underlying technicals. Because it's been a somewhat narrower market, we're not seeing the oscillator get extreme. Okay. We're now minus 122. That's pretty steep. But we did reach Friday morning minus 141. Now we haven't seen that level in a while. It's right at the lowest level reached, minus 137. So 141 is actually the lowest level since April. But in April, we got down to minus 200 and change. Matter of fact, 225 in April. And last August, we reached minus 237. So, the next day or two, we could get more steeply oversold or bounce right from these areas where we've seen many rallies start in the past from the oversold condition. Percentage of stocks above the 40-day moving average have moved down to only 30%. 7 out of 10 stocks are moved below their 40. Obviously, not a good sign. And if we get down towards 20 or even in the mid-teens, then we're more extremely oversold. So I'm not seeing extremely oversold here. Markets still could be vulnerable to get there. And the VIX, which got down in the 11 range, still 1266, and that's showing me any inclination to get more extremely oversold, that's for sure. So we have a lot of room for this market to go lower based on the technicals. Let's just simply say that. If we break, we can break hard. But the trend is your friend. The trend is still up, particularly on the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500. And again, the problem is transportation and small caps just not coming along for the ride, not yet. And usually small caps in particular, at the tail end of every bull market, are running. So this could be a precursor to a negative period in markets. We'll see. Let's take a look at some of the components. The NASDAQ 100 general and market itself. Well, Apple's had a special month. Since mid-April, when it dipped down to 164, it's blown to a new all-time high, particularly on Thursday, hitting 220. 56 points. About 35% in Apple, just in the last 4 or 5, 6 weeks. So that's bullish, obviously. Amazon, not too bad, but it might be a topping pattern. We've got to get back above 190, 170. The last couple of days on Amazon have been difficult. As you can see, the stock rests right on the moving averages here, which is dangerous because any crack Monday or Tuesday, this can come down quickly to test 179 or even 173. And if it does that, it may be completing a topping pattern. We've got to be careful with that one. Google, on the other hand, and a few others, made a new high at 182 on Wednesday, and it's still holding. But now a price projection telling me that 186.7 and then 199 might be targets. Microsoft making through a triple top and now setting up a flag with an engulfing bar on Friday. This is a very bullish chart. It indicates we go to 460, maybe 485, maybe 500. It's possible. Market, that's a very strong chart. NVDA, monster of the midway, about another new all-time high, 132.84 on Friday. And note that this, just since April, has gone from 75 to 134, almost doubling just in the last 8 weeks. And since January, when it was traded at 46, you can see it's a triple, not to mention what it did prior. Netflix doing well. At an all-time high, but a multi-year high, and the pop on Friday of 17 points broken out of this wedge and leads to me to retest the all-time high in the 7705 area. Very nice chart. Meta, on the other hand, you can see it having a difficult time up here, but it did recover. But it looked like a disastrous spike down at 414 to get back 100 points to 514. How about that? 100 points from the April low. Now we do have resistance up here, and it's key resistance at 531. To get through that, we're looking at 575 and above. And Tesla, well, it looked like an inverse head and shoulders, and with a V bottom and a coil and a breakout. Didn't follow through until it does. Until Tesla takes out 180, 199, 200. There's still a possibility that this is a head fake breakout, but it did break out with volume and a pullback on lower volume. For now, we'll see. 100% must stop on Tesla on the 167. That concludes a look at the NASDAQ general. So let's take a look at the major ETFs we follow. The SMH is a savior for this market, period. Take a look at this. New all-time high on Friday at 268 and change. But biotechs backed off on Friday, and financials have been weak for a month now, and they're really dangerous looking to me. Triple top, breakdown of the trend line. The last support on the FAS would be 92. Below that, we have a full-fledged bear phase, potentially beginning on financials, which won't be good for the market. Once again, XBI biotechs on support here, and if we break under 88, that would be a problem for the market as well. So I'm only seeing one of the three major ETFs we follow. XBI not particularly strong. I would have to say that financials are outright potentially bearish, while the SMH is just the opposite, very bullish. So it's a mixed picture, and now you know why it's a difficult call up here in terms of whether we go higher or whether we come down pretty immediately and break down. So lots of other ETFs to discuss. Let's take a look at gold and silver. Well, first of all, the GDX, NUGT, and JNUG, three popular ETFs for gold, are all pulled back to key support. If this breaks there, problem. Same here. The nugget, the GDX at about 32.5 would be a problem too. As it is, 5 waves up and a pullback now below the moving averages. So I'm not enthralled with the current picture on the gold stocks, that's for sure. They're all below the moving averages, which are rolling over. So be really careful. This could result in a much deeper retrace than a lot of people are calling for. Same goes for silver, a little stronger though. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4. If it manages to hold here, this is AGQ, targeting 55. That's 17 points from here. You do not want this below 35, 36 zone because that's where it gets a big problem. Down at 31 and lower. So again, everyone's excited about them. I'm not. What about oil and gas? Well, oil and the gas came out of a long downtrend. Again, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave decline, base breakout. We did a swing here and pull all the way back to the breakout point and bounced again. Now it's pulling back. Still conducive to higher levels, I think, but it's a, we really need to get this one back over 23 and 3/4, 24 to get it going. At which point, 28, 32, and 39 might be targets. On the other side is KOLD, which you can see came down to a triple bottom and bounced, but if it gets below that level, it's done under 34. We covered oil, gas, gold, and silver. And let's move on. We have a lot of stocks to talk about. So about ADMA, a beautiful little low-price biotech stock has moved from 3 and change to over 10, near 11. And right now my target is 13.5, 14. Beautiful chart, good momentum. AEHR, well, we put a swing on it after 5 waves down and the base broke out. It's struggling here, to be quite frank with you. 15.5 and 18.5 might be targets. You do not want this underneath 12.5. AGIO broke out a week ago and ran, and it's pulled back on Friday, but still love the overall chart pattern, looking like a 1, 2, 3, and maybe wave 4 starting. But ultimately, it looks like a potentially $60 stock. AGX and a construction group, breakout weight gap, flag, pop, and run. Great looking chart. At resistance and target in the high 70s. Potentially extension would be 85.6. ALAR has been phenomenal. Some little junior software stock. First in a shallow rising angle, then a breakaway gap and a rising channel. And it's moved from the $2 range into the $40 range for a 20-fold increase. Now flagging or coiling, next target 48.50. LHC, same thing, breakaway gap, rising channel. Looks like it's headed to 9. And then 10. AMSC in the diversified electronic group, and with a great chart and rising pattern, and now near the multi-year highs. My target's 31. AMWD, that's a short. APH, a beautiful rising channel since October when it was 39 and change. It's almost doubled to about just under 70. And my next extension target is 73. ASPN, Aspen Aerogels, building materials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up and a rising flag, so it's less reliable, but it doesn't look like it's done yet. ASTS, spike, 3-day pullback. Pop, 3-day pullback. We put a swing on it. It went from 8 to 10. My target, 13. AU in the gold sector looks a little better than most. I like it, unless it breaks down underneath 21.5. That's my target. Stop, I should say. My target is 26 and 30. BLBD, Bluebird, automotive manufacturer. What a great chart. It's literally gone from 8 to 58 in the last couple of years. and now in a rising configuration with a target of 68. BNAI, now brand engagement network spiked for 3 days, literally went from a buck and change to 9, pulled back down. It's got a beautiful wedge. Nothing to do until it breaks out with volume. You want to see it over 5.515. If it does, targets 8.5 and 12. Kava, been a beautiful rising channel all year, and since the December low in the low 30s, it's made it to the low 90s, tripled. Doesn't look done yet, targeting 104. CCJ in the uranium group, leading purveyor, beautiful rising channel still. Looks like this would be your trend line, and your targets are 56 and 60. Junior gold stock core mining, formerly Coeur d'Alene. Look at this chart. The highest level since early 22, and now looking like it could be 7 and 8. CDMA inverse head and shoulders. Breakout and now wedge. Keep an eye on this one. Your stop is under 12.5. Your targets are 17 and 21. CGNT. Nice rising channel, has been all year. It's moved from 2.25 to over 8. My target is 9.5. Colgate Palmolive, beautiful rising channel, isn't it? I think it extends to near 100, 98 to 100. CLBT, beautiful rising channel, multiple waves. Broke out and then, or did it about right to resistance and backed off. But the extension is 13.5 and 15. Clearfield, beautiful base, breakaway gap, pullback, wedge formed, now rising channel, 42 and 48 targets. CLSK, beautiful rising channel, a long coil. Now this is crypto related, so be careful, but if it pops, it could go vertical to 24, 30, and 40. COHR broke out on Friday. That's a tech traded swing. It looks excellent for 80 and 90. CORZ has been in a phenomenal move since it bottomed at about 2 3/4 in mid-April, but in 2 months it's gone from 2 3/4 to over 11. Nope, 1070. Sorry. Nevertheless, I do think it's going to extend. My target's 13. Coya pulled back on Friday. Looks like they're doing a secondary. I'm not sure what to make of it, but it's right on the trend line. I like it long term. Short term, I have my doubts. CRBP with a breakaway pop and a wedge, and then a rising channel. My target is 60 and 65. Credo, nice pop, rising pattern, consolidating in here. This is new all-time highs. I can see 31 and 33. CRNT, beautiful long-term base breakout, falling wedge and pop. We made some money right in there, but the falling wedge has it back to the breakout point. Needs to hold it here. Watch for a snapback. Carvana long-term chart is impeccable, but always want to keep in mind where the trend line is, lateral price support is. Any move under 94.5 would be negatory, folks. If it does manage to get back over 115, it may run and run hard. Potential targets 140, 160. Dell. It's looking great. Tech traded swing from the high 60s and made up to 180 or close to it. Got slammed, and now this is a bear coil. So ultra be careful on this one. It could see lower levels. Aerospace stock DRS, beautiful rising channel. The extension target is 27. AKAM broke out of a base, pop, flag, pop, and now another flag, which may take some more time, but eventually I think it's a $200 stock. EBS, breakaway gap, rising pattern, a pullback. Looks like wave 1, 2, and 3. 4 is underway. It may last a little bit longer, but once it gets above 7, I'm looking for 9. In the gold sector, Eldorado has been one of the better ones. Look at this long-term chart. 5 to 16, and now consolidating. Support 14, resistance 16 3/4, targeting 20. ELYM, pop, falling wedge, and now this. If it does go again, I'm looking for 13, 14. ETHE, in the crypto realm, Careful. Resistance right there at 37. Support at 29.30. If it breaks 37, the target's low 40s, high 40s. In the silver sector, EXK with a 1, 2, 3, 4, and an orderly one at that, now has a target of 5.5, 3/4. Freeport, or Fresh Pet, excuse me. Breakout, flag, pop, and another one. Don't know how long this is going to last, but once it does get going, 150 is your target. First Solar was a swing of ours. It went literally from 265 to 306 and change, about 40, 41 points, but it had a big pullback the last couple of days. Make sure you have key support in mind and stop under 260.63. GRN breakaway gap, popped and now pulled back gently. I think it works its way hard at 5.5 and 6.75. GH breakout, exploded, pulled back. We put a swing on it. It went from a 23 to 30, 33 roughly. My target is 37 and 42. General Motors popped and broke out to multi-year highs and then pulled back. Like the overall chart, targeting 50 and 55. GVA and the construction group, beautiful rising channel. I got a target of 65 and 72. Halzyme, breakaway, and a wedge. Nice little wedgie here. It tells me the possibilities are if it holds it, we can pop again to mid-50s. HIMS has been very strong of late, and it's gone from about 11 and change to 23 and change, or more than that, more than doubled. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave up, so careful with a lot of resistance up there as well. But I like the overall look. May need to consolidate or retest. Robinhood with a 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 underway may not have much left, but the channel top says in order to complete that wave, 28. HROW base, breakaway gap, and a rising channel. Still like the overall look, 20 and 23 targets. HRTX, Horizon Therapeutics, long downtrend broken here, slow rising channel. But this one's moved from literally in November, 50 cents to almost 4, 8-fold increase. Target 6. IDM fell back, it broke out, we put a swing on it, it backed off the resistance twice. And you can see the move pull back on Friday as it at support. Your stop is under 3.25. IMMR base breakout, flag, and pop, looking really good in here. Here's your weekly chart. See how major breakouts occurred? Target is 10.75 and 13. INOD breaks the base with a breakaway gap and has a rising channel. It's been like that all last few weeks. Extension is 18.19. IPW exploded, pulled back hard, formed a wedge, and broke out Thursday with a bit of a fall through Friday. My targets are 4.75, 5.5. Jemiah is a flyer as it's really had a nice move out of the falling wedge from 5.5, doubling to 10.5. And although it had a little bit of a negative 1-2 pullback days, Thursday, Friday, and it may need to consolidate some more, ultimately looking for 12.75. Kyndryl, beautiful long-term chart. It's pulled back from resistance, and it needs to be monitored from pop over 27. If so, targets at 30 and 33. Levi Strauss, beautiful rising channel. It's taken it from 12.75 to 24, nearly doubling it. But Friday was a bad day as it pulled back down 76 cents. That's not terrible. And it's right on the trend line. So if we can hold here, 26.7 target zone. LGBN with a big pop Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is at resistance, so it may back and fill. But if it extends, I'm looking at 5.25 or half area. LICY popped, broke out of a downtrend on Friday, but it is at resistance. It needs to get up to 5.35. If it does that, targeting 6.5 and 7.5. Lipocene, rising channel with a breakaway pop on Friday. Extension targets 12 and 14. Layered Superfoods, LSF, pop, falling wedge, pop, falling wedge, pop. coil. Eventually, I'm thinking we're looking at 7 and 8. Lspd popped, we put a swing on it. It's been consolidating for a month. It needs to get over 1560.65 first. You do that, looking at 17, 18, and then 20. NVDA exploded in April, big time, from 30-40 cents range into the 7 range. And then hard pullback over a period of 2 months. Just spiked again. Just in the last 4 or 5 days, it's gone from 102, 333. At resistance, next target, 5. ML, our tech target swing, popped and pulled back. We put a swing on it. It went from high 50s to pre-market 97. This one shows, 107. And then the pullback. Kind of right on support here. I don't want to see this one on 79. Extension target's 115.17. MREO broke out of a base, held, and then extended on Friday right to resistance. Should it get through, I'm looking for 5 1/4 and 6 3/4. MRNA date swing trade worked as it popped, flagged, and then exploded. Literally going from 116 3/4 to 170 before this current pullback. Has it in a falling wedge near support. If it breaks out, we could see the stock go to 190. Micron has been in a beautiful long-term pattern. It's now at all-time highs. Extension target now 150.55. NRIX, another junior biotech with a 1, 2, 3, 4, and if we get a fifth wave, 25 is my target. NTRA has been phenomenal since November when it was high 30s. Well, it made it up to 120, I believe. 117, sorry. Yeah, so an extension target has me now looking at 124. Novavax popped and ran and then got up to the target zone before pulling back. You can see now on support, needs to hold it right there. If it does, it'll snap back to 19 and 23 again. Support underneath there at 11, 11 1/4. NVIDIA we talked about. NVDA we did not. This is the tracking stock for NVIDIA, which has gone from 28 to 80. 28 to 80, the leveraged ETF. 28 to 80 since April 19th. Less than 2 months. Tripled. ORN in the engineering construction group. Beautiful rising channel. Look at this baby. Base breakout. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave underway. Target 12. Maybe 13. Oscar. Pop, pulled back. When it broke out there, we put a swing on it around 16. It went up to 23 and change, and then pull back. Extension target, if it does go, 26. Pan American Silver is this, so one of the major silver stocks besides Wheaton. It better hold here is all I got to say. Don't want this under 19. Targeting 23 and 27. Impinj, which is a tech trader swing since October, when it was 63, I believe, made it up and tripled to 178. It's consolidating now. I need it to hold 145.48, right, not far from where it is. And if it does, looking for a retest at 175 and then maybe 200. Prime Water breaks out of a base, forms a flag, does a 1, 2, 3. This is wave 4. Fifth wave could get you mid-20s. PSTG breaks out, coils, pops, and it keeps running. Now looking for 74. Redwire broke out of a base and flagged, then it exploded from there. 485 to 7 plus. My target is 9. Reborn Coffee, breakaway gap, pop, coil, and then go. Missed this one, but it's a 1, 2, 3. May need a 4, could get a 5 to 10, 11. REFR pulled back a couple times and held support for the breakout point here, and it's moving average and trend line. We can continue to do that. We'll retest to 40, get up to about 3, maybe 4. Rent, spike, hard pullback, another surge, and now a coil. That's a wave 4 coil with a target of 40 and 50. REVG, beautiful rising channel. It tagged the top of that channel at 28.9 zone and it pulled back. If it holds, next target is 32. RNA with a special week with vertical. 25 and change to Friday's high of 42. Big move, 17 points. May need to rest it here, but my target is 50 and 54. RSI, beautiful rising pattern, base, breakout, flag, pop, and a rising pattern that says it's going higher. 10.5, 11, first target. SC broke out of a base, pulled back and consolidated. Did a 1-2. This is a 3. I'm not sure this is 4. But bottom line is my target is 88 to 93. Seed, continuing to coil. It did back off Friday a little bit on very low volume. It's done a 1-2 and a 3-4. I'm looking for wave 5, believe it or not, to 9. SFM, long-term beautiful channel, continuing to consolidate. Next target 90. Sweet greens broke out of the flag and pulled back. It looks higher, but it's struggling a little bit in here. Once it gets over 37, your target's mid-40s. SGHT with a V bottom, big run up, and then a multi-month coil. That broke out, and now it's retesting. But this pattern looks like a bull wedge with a target of 8.5. Sketchers, big reversal there Friday. That's a tech trader swing. It went 72 to 77.77 and it finished at the high for the day, an all-time high going back way back. Now I'm looking for this stock to get into the mid-80s. Similar Scientific, pop pullback. We have one more wave up into the 49.52 zone. Stoke Therapeutics, long breakaway gap here through major declining top line. A beautiful 6-week coil, a breakout, a triple top barely taken out on Thursday, but a pullback. If it does extend, 22. Teva, beautiful rising channel since it was 8. It's more than doubled, and now it's flagging. Your target is 19 and 22. Tandem Diabetes Care has gone from a pullback low of 14 all the way into the 50s. It's now backed off to test for support. Needs to hold 42.3, targeting 52.59. TPC and the Engineering Construction Group to the Perini breakaway gap, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave target 25 and 28. Taiwan Semi, great looking rising channel. I got a target at 42 coming up. Tasha Gene Therapeutics, breaking out of a consolidation and running. Target is 5. Uber, right back to the major trend channel and price support, and bouncing. Got to get this one up through 74. Your targets are 82 and 90. URGN with a two-day spike Thursday, Friday. It's got it at resistance, but it might get through here. And if it does, 24.5 is your first target, followed by 28. Vico, steady as she goes, been running all year. The long-term channel top target is now 60. VERX, rising channel and a beauty with an extension target of 40. WDC, Western Digital, beautiful rising channel, extending with a target at 88. WGS, Tech Trader Swing's been great since we put it out. It continues to run. It looks phenomenal. I'm looking for 35 and 45. This week I added Walmart. What a great looking chart. I hadn't realized it how strong. And this includes a split, but my target's 75 intermediate term. Wolf broke out of a coil, popped and pulled back to retest there, and then exploded again. Now it's flagging for 3 days. This looks great. We can get it up to that level. You might see the stock go 7, 8, 9. This could be big. Zeta put out a swing here. It consolidated and then ran hard from 11 to 18, 19 zone. High 1858, and the pullback has a large wedge for me, right there. Let's see if it pops. If it gets above 17.5, I got a target of 20. And that's it. On the long side, we got some shorts to cover, and we'll finish up. Akamai. This has been ugly since it came down and from the bear flag, and we gave you a Tech Trader swing short at 113. Well, folks, it's made it down to 87, and it doesn't look good. Next target, 80.81. AMN's been in the bearish trend for over a year, and it looks lousy. Next targets are 50 and 42. AMWD completed a topping pattern, came down. It is very weak. I think we drift to 78 and 70. BRZE came down hard from the bear wedge. We gave you a swing short, then extended to a coil, and finally dropped down. Rallied and came down again. Target 31. DoorDash Tech Trader swing short, came down, formed a bear wedge, morphed into a longer bear flag. But I still think we go down to 100, maybe even as low as 85. Datadog, toppy, but not broken yet. I'm looking for it to fail here and roll over, targeting 98. Disney, ever since it broke down and formed that little wedge in there, I put a swing short on it. Went from 106 down to, like 99 so far. The target is 96 and 90. DraftKings broke head and shoulder top, and now is a rising pattern back to resistance. If it fails here, which it should, I would look for a move down to 32. Fox Factory has been a tech trader swing short since it broke from the rising bear wedge. It's dropped from 69 to 39 and bounced. It looks lower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave could take it to 29.30. GitLab broke a topping pattern and is forming a negative pattern as well. Major support at 41.2. You break that, you're headed sharply lower. INFA breaks down, bear wedge, bear flag, another one. Had a nice pop on Friday, and I wouldn't be overly concerned yet. It was only 79 cents at 2.5%. I'm still looking for a failure and a move to 25. INMD, been in a bearish trend for over a year, and this bear flag may be breaking. Watch for a takeout of 17 and a move down to 15. JBL, massive top forming, or is it? We'll find out. I need to hold without going too much further, and then your target's going to be 101, 103. MDB broke down. I showed you the big bear wedge, which got hammered, and then it's still looking lower. At this point, it's too far, too fast. It made snap back, so careful. RH, Restoration Hardware, massive top formation. If it breaks up, we're going down first to 205 and then to 185. Sentinel 1 broke down. We put a bear swing on it. Went from 24 to 14 and bounced hard. But if it rolls over again, especially if it takes out 16.5, we'll retest 14 and maybe go lower. SMTC broke down hard last week or week before. Big engulfing reversal bar. Breakaway gap. Bounced off support. I'll tell you what though, it takes out 27.5. It's going to get creamed. And finally, Yelp continues in a lower pattern. After breaking down and forming a big bear flag, we said it's a short. Well, it dropped from 40 to 35 and now is vulnerable to 33 and 30. And that's an exhaustive look at longs, shorts, technicals, NASDAQ 100 leaders, major ETFs, and a look at a long list of longs and a short list of shorts. And that's it for today. And you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy. And please review these a couple of times so you're prepared for next week as usual. And fasten your seatbelts. It may get to be a rough ride. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend.